The BMW X7 is here and we have an exclusive on the xDrive 30D. The Ducati Diavel 1260S, all set for action. And keeping things nice and hot, it's the Lamborghini Huracan Evo on the track. Welcome to CNB, I'm Siddharth Vinayak Partner. This is the all-new and first ever BMW X7. This is the India spec and it is the xDrive 30D, the car that's assembled in Chennai at BMW's plant. And no one else has had their hands on this particular variant. It's likely to be the most popular, best-selling car. How does it drive? Here's the exclusive review. The BMW X7 is the kind of car you'd call a sure winner in terms of buyer requirements, especially in markets like China and India. And yes, I say this well aware that India won't get anywhere near the kind of volumes China will. And that explains that large grille and imposing looks. It's also the attention to detail and build quality though that come through right away on this car. Still, it's the car that the backseat owner will absolutely love. In India, the X7 has driven in with the xDrive 40i and the xDrive 30D, as I'd initially expected. Both cars are priced the same at 98,90,000 rupees. The petrol is an import while the diesel is assembled locally. The X7 has 3-row seating as standard, since in India, BMW has saved that feature for its X flagship, and the X5 does not get the optional 3rd row that it does in other markets. So you got the default, which is the 6 seats, but you can also go for that full bench and have a 7-seater configuration on both the petrol and diesel. The diesel, of course, is what I'm focusing on today, because even when we did our global drive, we did have a chance to drive that petrol engine, but not the diesel. And so this is the one that we've been curious about. The 30D, is that a big enough engine? So is the 30D good enough for a car of this massive size? That's going to be my key focus today, because on everything else about the X7, you can go ahead and look at my previous review, because even in terms of equipment, we are getting pretty much everything on the India spec. Yes, I encourage you to go to youtube.com/carandbike and watch the first drive on the X7 xDrive 40i, so you also get a better sense of that 3-liter petrol engine's performance and not just details on all the equipment and features that the car boasts. So back to the 30D then. The numbers first, and they're identical to the figures you'll see on the diesel X5. Yup, it's the same engine that goes into both cars, besides a few others too. And yes, the X5 and X7 also share BMW's cluster platform. We know this engine well from BMW. It's efficient, it's quick, it's really punchy, and I'll tell you what, that 260 horses and about 620 Nm of peak torque that you get on it is really satisfying. But most of that we've seen on many other cars on the BMW range. So the big question was, will it be enough for a car of this size and weight? Oh yes. Is it quick? You bet it's quick. It works just fine. And all those doubts anybody may have had about why don't we have the 50D, don't worry about them. By the way, the X7 40i shares its inline-6 engine with the X5's petrol M Sport. The X7 30D and 40i have both impressed me. The X-Drive all-wheel drive system is standard across the X7 range, along with the 2-axle air suspension, active steering and electric active roll stabilizers. The X7 is first a true BMW, that is to say, a real driver's car. It has the kind of agility, balance and handling that you'd expect from a more compact and sportier car. There is no body roll and the car corners impeccably for an SUV, especially an SUV of this size. The handling on this car is just unbelievable. I remember gushing about it even when I drove the car for the first time in the US. It is just phenomenal what BMW has been able to achieve, given the car's height, given the car's width, given the car's weight and bulk. I mean, it's just so much fun. And then throw in this amazing ride quality and you'll start to understand why I am gushing. Because whether you're sort of pottering around in city traffic or whether you want to quickly put your foot down and get to higher speeds on a highway, sitting in the car as a passenger, as a driver, even at the back, you feel no difference. It's just the same comfort level that continues. And for a buyer at this kind of price point, especially those sitting in the back, that is kind of what they're looking for, right? Without the compromise of it being an SUV. That's right, the car still has its off-road drive modes on the X-Drive system, and they're pretty capable, as we've seen on the X5. In India, the 30D comes in BMW's ultra-luxurious Design Pure Excellence trim. That includes everything from that giant panoramic sunroof to the chrome trims you see in the front and rear bumpers. There's also 21-inch alloy wheels, roof rails and window graphics in an aluminium finish, glossy black mirror housings and body-colored wheel arches and side skirts. On the inside, you get virtually everything that your heart desires. The Design Pure Excellence trim throws in the electrically adjustable seats, yep, all of them, that is, and a special signature leather. Safety is key on the car, and it's got a ton of standard active and passive safety features that includes front, side, head and knee airbags. So yes, there's a lot that you'll get for that cool 1 crore. It's not just big, it's not just luxurious, it's not simply comfortable, and nor will it only impress you with its performance prowess. No, the BMW X7 is all of that. And for the well-heeled buyer who always thought that they were compromising any of these parameters when going from luxury sedan to luxury SUV, well, I suppose I have to say, your car has arrived. No more compromises. Now we will wait till the second half of 2020 when the new Mercedes-Benz GLS, Audi Q8 and also new models from Land Rover and Lexus get here, so that there's more variety in this class and more company for the X7. So really impressive product this, the X7, and the delay on the Mercedes-Benz GLS, it's only going to help this car big time. Big time. All right, we move on, but we keep things high performance and also high end. This time it's the bike, the Ducati Diavel 1260S. It's a new generation of the Diavel. With every new generation, things always promise to get better. Preetam finds out if that's true on this bike. He had a chance to ride it in Spain.
It looks mean, muscular and ready to pounce. And it's a design which will certainly turn heads. According to Ducati, the new Diavel 1260 promises the personality of 3 bikes in one. A superbike, cruiser and a naked roadster. So, you get the fairings and the belly pan of a superbike. The headlight and flat handlebar are of a naked roadster. and the low seat and easy ergonomics of a cruiser. Suspension is handled by top-notch Öhlins forks and an Öhlins monoshock at the rear. And braking on the S variant is handled by top-spec Brembo M50 calipers up front, and also gets cornering ABS. There are significant changes to the engine too, which now gets Desmodromic valve timing or DVT, which essentially offers a wide spread of pulling power across the revs.
So 2019, the Diavel is back. Brand new engine, brand new chassis, everything in fact is almost new. It makes more power, more torque, loaded with electronics, quick shifter, ABS, cornering ABS, name it, it's got everything loaded with electronics. And of course, that's the one we're riding today. See how much of a change this one has made over the previous Diavel. Of course, this one is 5 kilos heavier, and the Diavel always is a heavy bike. But we'll see how it performs today in these twisty mountain roads in Andalusia, Spain.
To keep nearly 160 horsepower reined in, the Diavel 1260 employs state-of-the-art electronics with 3 preset riding modes: Sport with full power and aggressive throttle response, Touring with full power and a smoother response, and Urban with power limited to 100 bhp. For us, Touring was the mode of choice, offering smooth throttle response but access to the full power when needed. Chasing corner after corner in the mountain roads of southern Spain, it's immediately apparent that the Diavel 1260 is a special bike. Despite the bulky proportions and 244 kg weight, it's relatively easy to handle and it changes direction quickly and easily.
So that's the new Diavel. What's new? For Saras, it borrows the bigger 1262cc engine from the X Diavel. So it's got more power, more torque, and of course it's got brand new chassis, it's loaded with electronics. And although it's heavier by 5 kilos than the old Diavel, this one feels light on the move. It feels nimble, handles beautifully. In fact, you can go on a twisty mountain road that we've been riding today, chase corners like anything. This one is really, really nice. Only thing what we need to find out is how the ride quality is on our roads. It's felt a little firm, but these roads here are beautiful, so I can't really say about Indian roads. But for now, this one makes a very good package.
The Ducati Diavel 1260 is a special bike, period. It's got futuristic looks, the firepower to scare you silly, and makes every ride extremely enjoyable. Yes, versatile enough to make you go on a long ride if you so desire. The only downside in India could be the slightly firm ride, which could be a spot of bother on our road conditions. But we'll reserve that judgment till we get to ride it here on our roads. So, if you're looking for a bike which looks aggressive and has the performance of a super bike, yet with an easy and relaxed riding position, the Diavel 1260 could just be the bike you need.
Welcome back. One brand that's been surprisingly aggressive on India has been Lamborghini. Now, I know it doesn't matter to many of you, but I'll tell you what, it does matter because it shows that even at that end of the market, a lot of people aren't yet giving up on the India volume story, and proof of that has been the fact that Lamborghini has been bringing us some of its very latest products well ahead of certain other markets. It happened with the Urus in fact too, and it also happened with the most latest product, that is the Huracan Evo. And the car has been around on sale here in India since February, but we finally got our hands on it on the track in Chennai. Kingshuk is a very happy man having driven this car.
raw pace, aggression, and outrageous designs. These are the characteristics of a true blue Lamborghini. And the current embodiment of a typical Lambo is the Huracan, which was first launched in 2014. The Huracan Evo is basically an updated version of the sports car, a facelift if you will. And it is sharper, sexier than ever before.
It's fast, it's really low, and it's seriously sexy dressed in this orange color. It is, ladies and gentlemen, the Lamborghini Huracan Evo. Yes, this was launched in February 2019 at a price of 3,73 lakh rupees. It is for people who have really deep pockets and yes, an access to a racetrack, which we have today. We are here at Madras Motor Racetrack driving the Lamborghini Huracan Evo.
The Evo gets a few new design updates such as new bumpers at both ends, along with new and larger ducts up front and a slightly reworked spoiler at the rear. The round exhaust pipes have been moved above the rear bumper in order to create more space for the bigger diffuser and a more aerodynamic underbody. In a gist, the Huracan Evo looks even more sinister than the Huracan. The interior gets an update as well, with the new 8.4-inch touchscreen infotainment system at the center, which gets Apple CarPlay and gesture control along with a telemetry system as well. The car gets 3 driving modes, which can be selected by a toggle switch on the bottom of the steering wheel. 3 modes are Strada, Sport and Corsa. The Strada is basically the mode that you choose when you're pottering about in town. The Sport is for when you hit the racetrack, and the Corsa is basically when you want to pull out all stops and get the very best out of the Huracan Evo.
Getting the numbers out of the way, the Huracan Evo gets a 5.2-litre V10 engine which is naturally aspirated. It makes 631 brake horsepower and 600 Newton meters of peak torque. Now, it is a true blue Lambo with maddening performance. You hammer down on the accelerator and you'll be pushed back into your seat with like extreme violence. The 0 to 100 sprint comes up in just 2.9 seconds. And also the handling is absolutely telepathic. You chuck the car into corners with gay abandon without any care, and you'll be surprised by how well balanced the car feels and the feedback from the steering. It's absolutely beautiful.
The Huracan Evo is definitely a raging bull. The violence with which the Huracan pushes you back into the seat has to be experienced to be believed. The Evo and its revs touch mind-numbing speeds in less than a blink of an eye. Mash the throttle hard, brake even harder before a corner, get your line right, throttle out and repeat. I could have done it all day long, only if I had it my way. The rigidity of the chassis, the precise power delivery and the well-weighted steering wheel come together to offer sheer driving delight. The way the car responds to handling inputs will just spoil you for life. It is almost as if the car reads your thoughts and points itself in the right direction. The balance is beautiful and the car's stability through corners is rock solid. As one mashes the throttle, the engine breaks into a song. Inside the cabin, the roar of the 5.2-litre V10 feels guttural, but when you're outside, it doesn't quite hit the right notes for the ears. There is this synthetic feeling when you give it the beans, and the raw carnal howl that you expect out of a big, naturally aspirated engine isn't quite there. All that power and response can get quite intimidating. And the Lamborghini Dinamica Vicolo Integrata is the new tech which makes life easier. It is basically a bunch of driver assistance systems coming together to make your drive experience smoother and, dare I say, faster. The LDVI system controls the power output, braking, throttle and the torque distribution to make the car easier to drive for people who aren't used to that kind of performance. It makes you feel like you're the next Lewis Hamilton. The Lamborghini Huracan Evo tugs at the strings of your heart with its performance, balance and the sheer electronics wizardry of the LDVI system. The car's response is razor sharp and it definitely makes you feel like a track day hero. If you have pockets deep enough and have a taste for cars that gives you goosebumps by simply looking at them, then the Huracan Evo should definitely be in your garage.
Lamborghini India says it's already got orders in double digits for that car. So you got 3.73 crores? No? How about 1 crore for this one? No? Well, join the club because most of us don't have that kind of money. Yes, I do get lucky and Kingshuk got lucky getting the chance to drive some of these cars every once in a while, and of course we'll bring them to you the second we have them. Please remember that all our reviews are also on carandbike.com, and you can also catch all the videos on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/carandbike. Alright, with that I'm going to say goodbye. Please wear your seatbelts.